Hi, all, and welcome back to our. Well, actually, this is just gonna be the end of this series because, well, I know we're not gonna win. And I just thought I'd spend a few minutes actually because we're gonna be moving on. We're going to be doing a deity again, but we're not going to be continuing this series because it's just not gonna work. And I actually thought I'd explain sort of why it won't work. So as I'm sure you can tell, like from the first place, we actually did attack and invade um, France. We took two of their cities, so it's not even like we had an unsuccessful invasion. But there's a few issues here. I'm gonna start with like from the very beginning why we struggled this series. So like problem number one is that we were immediately penned in on a peninsula, right? Which is actually like the worst start you can have. Why that is because when we started here in Tyr, we lose so much options and so much land that we could have settled to our north, to our west, to our southwest. Like essentially half of the land you normally have to settle was all ocean. So that meant we had to settle in this little group of four right here, which causes some issues in that like there was only this one river that we could settle on, um, and there's just one mountain. So science-wise, we literally only had sorry, we only had one mountain to get adjacency bonuses from, right? We didn't get any ley lines here. We only had the one mountain and these ley lines here in our capital, but obviously then we could only have the one good campus. So what that means is not only were we kind of like screwed in that we had almost no good land to settle, we only had this little block here, that doesn't matter. We also had no good science adjacency bonuses, right? That is something we probably could have overcome potentially if it wasn't for problem number two. Problem number two, and we're at peace now, so it's going to be a little hard to show. Um, Problem number two is that France is actually like an extremely tough person to invade early on in the game for two reasons. One, they just so happen to get the Defender of the Faith Pantheon, or like religion boost, which gives all their units +5 defense when they're attacking. Now, early on in the game and even mid game, +5, when you have 30 melee strength on a crossbowman, when you have 44 strength on a cuirassier, 48 on a knight, that's anywhere from like 12 to like 20-ish% boost on every single unit they have. That's a problem. Add in the fact that because I wonder if I can pull it up. I don't know if I can pull up their boosts. Can I? I don't think I can. Alright, well, if you don't know, so one of Catherine de Medici's boosts is that they have really good, what's the word, like diplomatic visibility. So that gave them another 5 to 6 combat strength. So you add it up from like very early on in the game, right? Because Defender of the Faith they got pretty early because they got their like religion and pantheon early. Essentially they got it before we settled these cities, right? So it was too early to really do much with. Then add in the fact that they weren't, I mean they're close, but they weren't close enough that we could have like gotten and rushed them. So you add in the fact that they have essentially like combined with those two benefits, they have like +10 on all defensive units. And again, even mid-game, right? So mid-game, our units have anywhere from like 44 to 50, the melee units, and the ranged units melee strength is 30, maybe 35. So they have like a 30% strength boost on all their units. Add in the deity boost, which hey, that's fine. All of their units were insanely powerful. I mean, just ridiculously powerful. And that's just that combo you're almost never gonna see. I actually played like a few I played a little like farther on than what you see. But you can see here, right? Another deity AI, Indonesia, has warriors, right? They still have warriors, and they're not even these like insanely juiced warriors like France has. So you combine the fact that A, we had very little land to work with, B, we had almost no good campus adjacencies, C, we have an insanely strong defensive AI that's right next to us and literally our only target. Like, we couldn't have attacked anyone else outside of this insanely strong target. That's another problem. And all three of those could have been overcome. I could have overcome each and every one of those if it wasn't for Simon Bolivar playing SimCity on the other continent. So for whatever reason, the Aztecs, the Sumerians, and even like Gran Colombia themselves, they're supposed to be like warring nations, right? They're supposed to be aggressive civs. That hasn't been the case. Somehow they all have like pathetically small armies, and like France and the Netherlands, who are supposed to be like these non-aggressive civs, have huge militaries comparably. So all four of these like really unique circumstances just did us in, right? We don't have enough land to settle at the start. We have an insanely strong defensive civ right next to us, and that is our only target. We have really no good science adjacencies in our first four cities. We have one, I should say. So we have one good adjacency in our like core four cities. Unless maybe I could have put maybe I could have done an alchemical society and stuff here, but again, it's negligible when he's that far ahead. So, and the fact that one particular civ is, honestly, we could have caught any other civ outside Gran Colombia, right? The fact that they're already at rocketry in 980 AD and we're just kind of farther behind than we should be, we just couldn't win, right? All our cities with really strong campuses that we're building are like our newer and therefore weaker cities. So I just wanted to kind of like explain to everyone, this will happen every once in a while in your gameplays when you mix up the map types. This tends to not happen as much with Pangea because there just won't be so much ocean, and it's typically on Pangea like easier to conquer someone. And not only did we get kind of screwed with the fact, none of the AIs outside kind of a few small cities have like large cities on the water. Outside, of course, ironically, our ally has one, but there is just a lot of stuff that's really unique and will prevent us from winning the game. I can just see it now, right? Because in my head, I'm like, all right, well, how can I save this, right? We have spies to steal text. That won't do enough. We just won't be able to catch up. We just won't. So I'll see everyone in our next series. Because I didn't win this one, I'm not sure I want to do Cree. I might do a civ that's a little stronger just to give you guys a dub to watch. But yeah, just wanted to go over and explain, honestly, just a list of unique circumstances in this game. And I'll see everyone next time.